Good morning, pregame crew. How are y'all doing? It is Tuesday, August 10th, 8:24 Eastern. I'm Charkow Lori. We will get started in just a bit. Audio and visual check, please. Hey Chris, David, Sebro, Tammy, Judd, Henry. Thank y'all for joining us this morning. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it. Chris, Sean, Guillermo, Jorge, I really appreciate y'all joining us every morning. We'll get started officially in 5 minutes. While we wait, let's chat amongst ourselves. What is the best trading tip anyone has ever given you? If you could type it out in chat, I want to see it. Show me your best trading tip. Check, check. Hey, Night Truck, Don, Amir, Asia Syndicate, buenos dias. Hey, Veronica. Hey Dana, hey Sebro, patience. That is the number one tip for trading. Stop loss. You must be a TCG member. I like that, David. Guillermo, like it. Yep. Let the trade come to you. Yes, listen to TCG. Stop loss. Dana, I like that. Hey, party people. Hey, Matt. I don't know if this is the best trading tip, but what is speaking to me this morning is we use the left side of the chart to predict the right side of the chart, and no one knows what's going to happen on the right side of the chart. This blank space over here, I always call it the Taylor Swift blank space. No one knows what's going to happen, and accept that. Get your arms touching around that your arms will never touch, if that makes any sense. You don't know what's going to happen on the right side of the chart. Humans behave, their patterns are very predictable in how humans behave. And these candles, all it does is show you crowd behavior, crowd psychology. How are humans feeling about this name? And are they scared? Is fear and greed, fear and greed. But we don't know what's going to happen. We can't 100% predict what's going to happen on the right side of the chart. We use probabilities. And that's why you hear a lot of traders talk about poker, and the analogies to poker is because it's so similar. Because with poker, you don't know if you 100% are going to win, but you may go all in if you have a hand that should give you 70-80% win rate, then you would go all in. But it still doesn't mean that you'll win the pot. Same thing in trading, except being wrong. So I guess that's the same. Who said that? Whoever, except being wrong. What would Dan do? Farnsworth, let's look at that. Well, we have 2 more minutes before we start, and it's very tough for me to monitor chat. That's why we have so many moderators helping us out. I can't monitor chat and go through all of these tickers in 20 minutes. But I always want to just answer. Look at that. That top fish worked out. Try to answer your request as the best I can. So let's zoom out on AMD. For a swing, we're always looking at larger time frames. Weekly is best, daily is good. And if you go below that, you're just looking at the wrong time frame for a swing. So on the weekly, we have this huge move up from earnings. And on the daily, we have a perfectly good uptrend, and this volume is low compared to the bull volume over here. So the bulls are pleased with this consolidation and what it looked like. Now let's do some fibs real quick. So 107.88 is the level that we need to close over You see this candle, this body of this candle is not below that level. So I say we're still safe for it to be a potential daily bull flag. And I know it looks a little drawn out, but if we look at the fibs, it's still right at that key area where it needs to hold to possibly have a daily bull flag. 4 hour, are we oversold on any time frame? In looking for a daily high or low, the hourly oversold is typically a good place to start, and we're just not getting oversold. We're almost there. I'm trying to answer your question best I can. If we break 107.06 today, your next support is down at 103.83. So if you were to enter a swing today, let's say, this would be your most logical stop. So can you handle that risk? So I always say scale in. So if you want, let's just make it easy for this morning math for me. If you want 90 shares, let's say, then you could enter 30 shares today. You could enter 30 today, and this would be your stop loss. And then once we get an hourly trend change, then you could enter 30 more. Once we get a 4-hour trend change, you could get 30 more. So scaling in is the best policy when you're trying to nail a bottom. Not that this is a bearish chart by any means, but when you're trying to nail this reversal, I would say scale in a third. And if you're scaling in today, which is very, very logical place to scale in today, then you would have to use 103.83 as your stop. So if you enter at 107 and your stop is down at, let's just say 104 for simplicity's sake, that's $3 loss. Could you handle that with your position size? If the answer is yes, then today could be a good area to enter for a swing. The disclaimer is on our YouTube thumbnail, but I always want to just remind you verbally when I remember is that I am not a certified financial advisor. I cannot give financial advice. I'm a technical analyst, and I give you my impression of the chart and what I see from my experience. But as always, the risk is always on you, so please manage appropriately. All right, let's get started. I'm Chart Gal Lori. I'm part of the Chart Guys community. We teach technical analysis. We have a community where we share setups, news. We have a crypto channel, a marijuana channel, all kinds of fun stuff. And we have plenty of videos online, Trader Pro alerts if you're a crypto trader. And we have the swing report where we push out a report every weekend where we give out names that are setting up well on larger term time frames. So this is the pregame show where I go over the Fab Four futures, commodities, crypto, movers and shakers of the day. And then if I have time at the end, I go over your request. And as always, I always try to give a nugget of trading from my experience, what has worked every day. I try to just squeeze in a nugget here or there. All right, so this is my chart setup. I use TradingView to chart. I use Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade as my brokerage. So the yellow and purple are the simple 50 and 200 simple moving average. The green and red are the 8 and 21 exponential moving average. The yellow candles are just inside bars. It just helps my eyes point out a tightening range, and think of them as like little Russian nesting dolls. You see these yellow inside bars here on the 4 hour. It's just where one candle's time frame is nesting within the prior candle's price range. All right, get rid of this. I use CM Ultimate RSI multi-time frame and the TTM Squeeze. I use the Thinkorswim default. We have a 4 hour EQ. So just to get our overall perspective, this is a potential daily bull flag, and it's ideal for bulls. Let's go over what a daily bull flag must have. So we need the 1/3. It can't give up more than 1/3 of its pull. Okay, check. It needs to be above the EMAs. Check. We need declining bear volume. Check. And we want lower wicks of bulls buying the dip. Check. So it's met our 4-pronged criteria of a bull flag. So when we zoom in on the 4 hour, we see that we have this EQ pattern. What happens often is you get a bear break on something like this, where you would break that higher low pattern and it would have no follow through. Then you zoom out and look for that bull flag. Well, look at the 4 hour. We have an EQ. We haven't even broken this bearishly. That shows the strength that the bulls have. So if you're a TCG member, you know this. With bull flags and bear flags, when you get on a bull flag, a bear break with no follow through, zoom out, look for a bull flag. On when you have a bear flag potential and you have a small bull break with very little follow through, zoom out and look for a bear flag on a higher time frame. In this scenario, when you don't get that bear break on looking for that bull flag on a higher time frame, that shows that the bulls really have control of this chart. So don't get overly bearish until the bears show the white of their eyes, and they have not. You're on the bear dance floor right now. If you're shorting everything in sight, you're on the bear dance floor by yourself. You want to wait. This is the junior high dance. You want to wait till a lot of people get on the dance floor, at least a few people, before you go out there. So bulls are in control of the chart. 4 hour gives me the most clarity on just about every chart I looked at today. So I'm going to stay with the 4 hour chart as long as we're staying within this EQ. Nice healthy consolidation, and you see this squeeze, these red dots, they just help me visually show the pressure that is building, but I don't need that. I don't even need RSI to see that this pressure is building and we have price compression, and the longer we go sideways, the more the pressure will build. So on ES, our key resistance 4432, key support 4416, and then 4415. NASDAQ has broken bull from, let me clear that out since we broke bull. Actually, let me show you this. So here on the 4 hour, we had this higher high, higher low, and we've broken out to a higher high. ES is still within that pattern. So if you're looking for some type of bull heads up, we could get a bull break out of this ES chart because NASDAQ did it. So NASDAQ is a large component of ES. YM, potential 4 hour bear flag. YM and RTY, I still have a bearish lean on these two names. So if the market were to show weakness, and I look at market internals, I talk to you almost every day about tick. I use tick cumulative. Marijuana channel, that's funny. I use tick cumulative. I look for sustained ticks above 600 for a bullish day and sustained ticks below 600 for a bearish day. Why do I always talk about sustained ticks? It's because the number one way to make big money in trading, I don't like the word big money, I shouldn't say that, is trend day. When you have a trend day, that's the day that I have my most, let me say it a different way. I have my most profitable days on trend days. Trend days mean, let's say for Amazon may open up bearishly and it stays bearish all day. Those days are my most profitable days. Otherwise, if you're staying below 600 on the ticks, say you're 300, 200, 100, market internals are soft, i.e., in those environments, you're going to get chopped up trading options directionally. If you're trading stocks, you just put your stop loss there and you won't get hurt as bad. So with RTY and YM, I'm still looking bearish as long as these 4 hour and hourly EMAs are overhead on RTY. See this hourly 50 EMA? Y'all know that's my electric fence. When the bulls are touching it, they're getting electrocuted. I am still looking IWM short. However, I cut my position in half yesterday. I talked to you, if you're a Swing Report member, I talked to you about it on the videos this morning. If you're a TCG member, you know I've been posting in chat. I've been bearish IWM, but I also posted in chat yesterday. We have tons of earnings with IWM. Small companies like AMC, Clover. I think, does Penn Gaming have earnings? I don't know. That's not really as small of a company, but it is one of the number one holdings in IWM, FYI. So lots of earnings. So I don't want to get burned getting overly bearish on RTY if we have lots of positive earnings reaction. So I cut my position in half. So of our Fab Four, NASDAQ is the strongest, then ES, then RTY, and then YM. YM resistance, that 35,000 psychological level, support 34962. RTY resistance 2235 and support 2229. Gold, I don't know what to tell you if you're trading this bullishly. This is a mess. This chart is an absolute mess to the downside. So yesterday of course, when we open, this is the weekly candle, we're already getting that lower wick because we had bulls buying the dip on this $4 billion contract liquidation here. However, this chart has velocity to the downside. Let's look at the EMAs, the slope of the EMAs. SOTIMA. Let me say it again. Slope of the EMAs, SOTIMA. When you have the slope pointing down to this degree, this has some major velocity to the downside. So this 8 EMA, I like to say if it's like 45 degrees, think about it like the bears are driving the car 45 miles an hour. And if it's slope, let's say 15 degrees, then they're just pedaling along. So this has velocity to the downside. I see no redeeming reason or no technical reason to be in this chart. For me, I don't see a setup. Support 1725, 1677, resistance 1739, 1750, and 1754. The assumption is that some people got bullish on the jobs number last Friday, and they got liquidated. The bears piled in Sunday night and they got liquidated. That's the assumption, but I don't need to know what the backstory is at all to know that this chart's a wreck. And please be careful. Yesterday, this could have been the trade of the week for me. I talked to you about this yesterday in TCG. I posted we were looking for a daily higher low. 4 hour got oversold. And man, was this a beautiful trade. You can make a living trading. You can quit your job. If you find setups like this, trade them consistently with a stop loss, you can make this your full-time occupation, trading, if you can find setups like this and trade them well and sit on your hands otherwise. This is a high conviction setup for me. So we have this EQ on the weekly. We have support at 65.01. Yesterday we hit at 65.15. And on a CL contract, I was trading QM, but on a CL contract, if anybody's, Judd's in the room, it's a 4.5%. So it's 289 ticks. So $2.89, and you see to the right, 289 ticks on a CL contract. I'm trying to remember what that is. Maybe $10. So that's probably almost $3,000 bounce on one contract of oil futures. Futures can be dangerous if you are not a disciplined trader. Do not even get near futures. But when you see these types of trade setups, doesn't mean it'll work, because the bears did have control yesterday and they had some velocity to the downside. But when you got that support level, this is a Mars level. You can see it from Mars. You don't have to be a trained technical analyst. I could probably show this to my 6-year-old nephew and he'd be able to say, oh, Aunt Lori, support $65. So if you see these high conviction setups, that doesn't mean go all in, but that means just trade them consistently and you would have a consistently profitable P&L. So on oil, we are looking for a 4-hour lower high after this bounce. So your resistance on this bounce, 68.05, and then 70.18 support, 65.15, then 65. And we have the API estimates today after hours at 4:30 Eastern. Sean, it's called TTM Squeeze. It's created by John Carter, and he basically created this with Bollinger Bands and Keltner channels. He kept noticing when you have Bollinger Bands opening and then the Keltner channels come within the Bollinger Bands, that created pressure. So I'm from the South. My grandma always cooked red beans and rice in a pressure cooker where they tell you don't lean over to pop your eye out. Those type of pressure cookers, that's what I call this indicator. It's when the pressure is building, the Keltner channels come within the Bollinger Bands, and that's what it measures. And these histograms, I call it the Burger King histograms on the bottom, and then we have the blue ones on top. Those are bullish and the Burger King ones are bearish. That is a momentum histogram showing the velocity or the momentum that the bears have, or bulls. Bitcoin, we were looking at this rounded bottom yesterday. Bitcoin bulls have to be pretty pleased with this action. Overall, I didn't look at this chart this morning. 6-hour potential bull flag. You have support at 44876, 42821, resistance 46718. I'm going to pull up Litecoin. The value of a community. Why would you join someplace like TCG? Well, Dan called out this morning. about the bulls looking for, he was the 4-hour EMA where price after this big run was approaching the 4-hour EMA. I entered, let's see. Yeah, this is what time I woke up. I woke up and I flipped this. So I already made my month's grocery bill this morning, flipping Litecoin. Was I looking at this chart? Absolutely not. It was posted in the chat room by Charting Me and Dan. Traded it, flipped, paid for the groceries this week. And that's the value of being in a community. Back to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we have this 15-minute trend change and support 45212. Ethereum. Okay, I'm going to flip back and forth here. Okay, so this is Ethereum. Look where price is. Price is here above these EMAs. Now let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is fighting to get over them. So Ethereum is slightly stronger in the shorter term time frames. We have a bull break from this little 15-minute EQ support, 3116, 3113, 3103, resistance 3174 and 3200. So I'm going to jump to Hood. I think, do they have earnings, y'all? If somebody knows if, no, it's Coinbase that has earnings. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Apple, we talked about this yesterday, this daily EQ. We're continuing to build pressure, and now we have an hourly squeeze. When you see these wicks, this was so confusing for me when I started trading. Why are these big wicks in pre-market? When we have broker open, sometimes it's just a phantom wick where no real price action is going off there. Ignore them. Just absolutely ignore them. We have an hourly squeeze and we have this tightening pattern. Just means price is going sideways and bears and bulls are punching each other, okay? They're fighting. And then last man standing wins. Last man standing, is it going to be a bull or a bear when they get out of this fight? We don't know yet. My lean is to the bullish side because of possible ES bull flag on the daily. Weekly, we have a potential bull flag on Apple. Look at these inside bars. God, they're pretty. So I like Apple to the long side today, bottom fishing this 145.95 or 145.79. And y'all know with Apple, I like to give it just a little wiggle room. So maybe 145.75. If we would get a pullback to that area, I would be a bull buyer. But I wouldn't be a bull buyer if we are below negative 600 ticks sustained, multiple hits. Below 600 on market internals tell me that this could be a trend day to the downside, and the bears have kicked the bulls out of the driver's seat. I need to know who's driving the bus every single day. Market internals tell me who's driving the bus. So I need the bulls to be in the driver's seat in order for me to go long Apple around 145.75. Then your next support, 145.52. AMC with earnings, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to trade these. I don't. And I think it's pretty healthy for me to tell you when I don't know things. I don't know how to trade this. We have this beautiful bull move off the bottom. The trade was bottom fishing the 4-hour high or low, but up here, I don't know what to tell you. It has tons of volume and you could get great opportunities today. The key resistance 38.24 and then 38.48. This is a Mars level 38.48. I would be looking to top fish 38.50. The bulls have momentum this morning, but 38.50 is the key short area for me, but I can't tell you where to get long here when the bull move has already happened. And it has a lot of mixed sentiment over it. Support $37.36. So AMC, I like to the short side, 38.50. Tight stop and don't be pig-headed about it. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Docu. By the way, I love going to charts and see that I already have an alert set. I had this alert set yesterday. So I like this potential daily bull flag. We have a daily squeeze in Crowd. Docu I like as well. So sorry. So Crowd, I have been talking to you about Docu and I've been remiss not to bring up Crowd. Crowd potential daily bull flag. We have an inside bar yesterday. That key resistance 265.50, support 258.20. I love this tightening range. Let's flip to mRNA real quick. So I left this on the chart. This is what someone asked me about this in the room, and I'm so sorry I can't remember who it was. And I commented that I love this chart. Look at this tightening range. I loved it. Look at Crowd. Do you see the similarity here with this tightening range? So resistance is 263.95, then 265.50. I have my alert set at 264.56 to potentially go long on any bull break. preferably I'd like to buy a pullback. So I'll be keeping crowd up at open today. Docu got to upgrade to 386. It's already breaking bullish. Y'all know. I love this chart. Daily inside bar yesterday, resistance 307.52, support 299.49. Got an upgrade. I like Docu to the long side, queen of the mountain trade for me today. FS, I already have a position, by the way, but I have a swing position long, and I will look to day trade it. FSR on the hourly. We got this bull break. We have tons of volume pre-market, but I don't know how to tell you to trade this chart except for an alert on RSI. You see I already have it set for first 5 minute oversold, then I like a long, but I can't tell you to get long up here. So support 1715, 1670. Hood, we have these daily inside bars. We have resistance at 59.96, support $56, and I have an alert right here to top fish $60, or if we get a bull break, look to go long. 60.88 is your next resistance. My preference is always to get long within the range. If I'm looking long, get long within the range. Wait, let me give you some more levels on Hood. 5604 and 5576 are your supports. mRNA, $340 million last time I checked in pre-market volume. This thing is beautiful. We have support at 480.08, 478.57. All the vaccine names are just looking strong, and the bulls are in charge with all of this COVID negative news. So I am not saying that mRNA will go to 620. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying yesterday that's where the option strikes stopped. It'll be interesting to see if they add more option strikes today. I bet they do, because they don't want a gamma squeeze if it were to go that far. So just keep that number in mind. Support again, 480, 478, 57. How do you trade this if you don't have a position? So first 5 minute oversold. Tell me all about it. Trading View. Tell me first 5 minute oversold. And you could possibly look to top fish, $500 psychological. And if you're wrong, be wrong quick. TLT. So some of you asked yesterday, could you trade, if I could trade live? If I were trading live today, this is what I'd be looking at. Let me scroll back out. Okay, so on the weekly, we're looking for a higher low. Plenty of room for a higher low. On the 4 hour, we're approaching oversold, and it has falling wedge look. So on the daily, that key support is 163.09. Do you see how this is similar to the oil chart? We're approaching that key support, and we got a double bottom here at 163.10, 163.09. So I could put my stop at, let's say, 163, go long ZB. I like it here to the long side, looking for that weekly higher low to be put in. But if we're wrong, because obviously bears have the momentum here on ZB. So TLT, if you don't trade futures, TLT, that key support is 146.67. Potentially go long on TLT, Queen of the Mountain setup today. Hold, if we could hold this key support. TTD, lots and lots of upgrades. And we had earnings yesterday. They had this shake and bake where it looked like it was going to go long with this beautiful reaction, and then pulled back, popped up to the hourly 50 MA. I love this tightening pattern. So push back to the $81 area could be an area to go long. Your key resistance, 83.88. QQQ, NASDAQ has that 4 hour higher high where SPY doesn't. So QQQ, that resistance 369.40, support 368.40. That made it easy. And SPY gave two beautiful top fishing opportunities yesterday when it approached the high of Friday. Well, those levels are still in play. And just for simplicity's sake, I would say 443. So our all-time high is 44294. I would say 443 is that key resistance we need to get over convincingly. I'm going long today. Support 442 and 44184. Yep, it may happen, CK Gaming Channel. We may get it. What do I think about, I went over AMD. What do I think about WISA? WISA. So I have just a few minutes, but this is really important. I've lost more money in pre-market than any other setup or trade that I've attempted. In pre-market, I used to watch someone trade live. He had a squawk box, that's a squawk box, which means they just have stock news coming through. And he would get news like Summit Wireless Technologies has blankety blank news, and he would go short it. Do you see that shorting opportunity right there, 464? It really opened my eyes to what professionals do to newbie traders in pre-market and after hours. They just short it. And he would also do it during trading hours, short those news pops. So it's a high risk short, but he had a very high win rate because these are just those pump and dumps. So please just be careful. Doesn't mean it won't run today. I'm just saying be careful. Support 376, 374, resistance 464 and 470. Shop and okay, 3 more and then I gotta go. Shop looks beautiful, Tammy. I have a position. I have the 1600, 1650 call debit vertical. So a call vertical meaning I bought the 1600 shop August 20 calls and I sold the 1650 calls. So I'm in a vertical. I like shop to the long side. This is a beautiful chart. Coin, beautiful move. Next resistance 30698. Did it have earnings? Does it have earnings after hours today, I believe? Yep. If it keeps running like this into earnings, this is not good, which means the bulls could have priced this to perfection and Coinbase bulls will have to crush, or Coinbase will have to crush earnings in order to keep going up. You don't want these hot, when it's running hot, think of a car running hot and it overheats. That's what's happening right now with coin. But there's nothing wrong with the chart, but earnings are a binary event. Support 274.85. Last one, cost is beautiful. Ooh, nice tightening range. We like these tightening ranges. 43890 is your key support. Resistance 44278 and 44301. Nice chart. Nice tightening range and a weekly uptrend. Gorgeous. This is actually a swing report name from back in here. All right, that's it for me, TCGers. I'll see you in the room. Dan will start live in 4 minutes. If this is your first day to join us, thank you, and I hope to see you tomorrow.